What is going on, guys? Welcome back. It's Enigma here, and today I'm going to be doing something a little different. Today we are going to be doing a tier list. Now, this is not going to be like any tier list you've seen. This is going to be a pretty short video, but I want to do it. I'm going to be doing a series of this before Cold War comes out, and this video is going to pertain to my top 5 Call of Duty Zombies maps. Treyarch only. Treyarch only. It's going to be my top 5. I'm going to be ranking them from S, A, B, C, D, F. I'm going to be ranking them. In another video, I'm going to be doing my top 10. And then I'm going to put it all together and do a complete tier list of every single Treyarch Zombies map. I'm going to try to be as objective as I can. I'm only doing my top 5 Zombies maps of all time. It's not going to be in any order. If you guys want me to do a top 5 of my favorite Zombies maps, let me know. But this is going to be my top 5, not in any order. And I'm going to try to be as objective as I possibly can. And we're going to start off with Der Eisendrache. Now, this is an absolute classic. You guys know how great this map is. This map is different enough from Origins to feel like its own. To me, this is the best Treyarch Zombies map of all time. This is the best Zombies map of all time, period. Because this map is not the best at anything. It's just not. But it's second best at almost everything. The only thing it may be the best on is story, but you can make the argument for Moon. You can make the argument for Origins. There's a lot of things you can make the argument for. But I believe Der Eisendrache is the best Zombies map of all time. We got the bows. The Easter egg is just absolutely fantastic. Everything about this map is just great. There's not a single thing about this map that just turns you off. The storyline is not shoved in your face like some maps, but this map is for everyone. You can have casuals on it, you can have the hardcore guys on it. It's just an absolute blast, and that's why it is at number 1. Excuse me, that's why it's at the number 1 spot of my zombies maps of all time. Excuse me, sorry. And that's why it is S tier. That is an S tier map. And this is not in any order, but we're going Shadows of Evil next. I think Shadows of Evil is another S tier map, and here is why. When this map first came out, I hated it. I hated this map when it came out. Launch day, I hated it. A few months later, I hated it. A few months after that, I started to love it. Because we got all these complicated... I guess I wasn't ready for the complicated maps, even though I loved Origins. But this map is one of the best of all time. I think it has the best layout of all time. You don't need to do an insane amount of running to get to each side. You got the rifts, you got the train. The train isn't as useful. The only time you really use the train is to get the sword, and the sword is insane. But the rifts were huge. The rifts were a perfect alternate type of transportation. I think Shadows of Evil is incredible. We got the Apothicon Servant. We had the Shadow Man for the first time. Everything about this map was just fun. I grew to love this map so much. This map, I think Shadows of Evil and Der Eisendrache are just top tier maps, and there's a few maps that are as close to perfect as you can possibly get, because nothing is ever going to be perfect. But Der Eisendrache and Shadows of Evil are up there. They're as close to perfect as you can get. There's two other maps that meet that criteria. But we're going to be jumping into the next one, which is Origins. And Origins is S tier, and Origins is in that little category that I just mentioned, that it's as close to perfect as you can get. Those three plus one more, which I am going to be mentioning, but those three are as close to perfect as you can possibly get. Origins, we had the robots, were just so cool. We had the stabs, where they were just simple. They were incredibly simple to build, and they could last you a while. You could have the ice staff by round 3 or 4 if you wanted to. It wasn't overly complicated. It was probably the most complex map we had at that point, but it was something that we were ready for. We were ready for complicated. And Origins is what we got with that. And Origins is just great. The mud is very bad on Black Ops 2. They fixed it a bit with BO3 Chronicles, but overall, I think Origins is just fantastic. The story was so new and fresh, and I think the story of Origins was just great. The Easter egg was a bit long, but that's not really a bad thing in my opinion. I like the long Easter eggs. I think the Easter eggs are fun when they're long. You get to have a whole squad. You get to just have a great time. In Origins, every time I play it, I just have such a good time. It's one of these maps where I could jump in when I haven't played it in a while and just remember almost everything and just have a great time. Origins is a top tier map. There's not much to it. There's just so much to do. You can play it so differently, just like with the Rise of Track. You can play it just so differently every time. You don't have to do the same thing over and over and over again. You got so many stabs, so many upgrades to do. The G strikes, the fist. I don't remember what exactly it's called, but just fill up 4 chests and that's it, and you got it. And it's awesome. It's fun. There's just so much to do in Origins that you don't have to play the same thing over and over and over again. It's really nice to mix it up. And we're going to the next one, which is definitely going to surprise people 100%. And that is Ancient Evil, and it's going in A. Ancient Evil is a banger, and let me tell you why. And this map is underrated and underappreciated, I believe, because this map was the last we saw of the Chaos Crew. The Chaos Crew were very not well received in the slightest, and with good reason. They weren't great. They weren't great by any means, but I personally didn't think they were that bad. And Ancient Evil won me over with the Chaos Crew to the point where I wouldn't have been against seeing them again in Cold War. And I'm going to be making a video on my thoughts on Cold War. You're going to be seeing it real soon. But I think Ancient Evil is the best map on Black Ops 4. You got the Gauntlets. The Gauntlets are so creative and different. They don't feel like a rehash of the staves. They don't feel like a rehash of the bows. They feel like their own unique thing, and there's a story behind each and every one of them. And I love it. I love it so much. The layout is pretty damn good, I'd say. There is a lot of running, but you got the portals. The portals help immensely. The high rounds are pretty easy. The only thing I would change about this map is the ammo you can get with the gauntlets. The gauntlets ammo are just not enough. It's not nearly enough. I think bumping up to 60, 70 would literally be perfect, excuse me. But there is an upgrade so you could pack a punch the gauntlets, like after you already made them like their ultimate self. I don't think that upgrade is worth it. It adds 10 extra shots, and to me it's a pain. It's a pain. But Ancient Evil also brought one of the best shields we ever got. The story behind this map was just so great. The Easter egg was great. I think it's not one of the best of all time, obviously, but I think it's one of my favorite Easter eggs. Black Ops 4 did a lot of bad, but we got Ancient Evil out of it, which I appreciate so much. Ancient Evil is an A tier map. Now we're going to number 5. This is not in any order, but this is just the 5th map in my top 5 list of right now. I didn't go in any order. And we got Mob of the Dead. And oh my god, Mob of the Dead is an S tier map. It's in that category that I described earlier. As perfect as you can get with a zombies map. As close to perfect as you can get. This S tier right now it's everything that I love about zombies. Drazentrak has their bows. It's very different. Shadows was mind blowing. We haven't been the same since we entered Morgue City. We have Origins. Origins threw a big curveball at us and gave us something we have never seen before. Mob of the Dead was just so different, and it was also something we've never seen before. We never saw any of these characters, but we grew to appreciate and love these characters. We've me personally back then, I wanted a zombies map in a prison. I always thought that was cool, and we got it. And it turns out this is one of the best zombies maps of all time. Mob of the Dead did almost everything right. The layout is not the best in my opinion. I think there's a whole lot of running, especially to get to Pack-a-Punch. But I think it's a decent layout. But other than that, the Hell's Retriever, something we've never seen before. We had the Blundergat, the Acid Gat, which was the upgrade to the Blundergat, the Golden Gate Bridge for Pack-a-Punch, Afterlife mode. Everything about Mob of the Dead is incredible. Mob of the Dead is an S tier map, and anyone who disagrees, I will fight you. I will fight with rage, and I will win that fight. Easily. Easily. This is my top 5. I didn't put it in any order. I just threw it up there as I saw what was in front of me with this list. I hope you guys liked it. I hope you guys comment, subscribe, do all that jazz. Excuse me, jazz. And I hope to see you next time. See you later.